luminaries who tragically died at an early age. Marilyn in 1962 at age 36, JFK in 1963 at age 46, and Dorothy in 1965 at age 52. The answer necessitates several chapters in the beginning of this book, touching on life experiences before I became an author in an autobiographical sense, so as to better understand how I would later substantiate credentials as a bona fide historian to anyone who doubted the accuracy of my writings. These life experiences, as will be explained, combine to mold and then strengthen my character, so that I could challenge through my words the disdain for the rule of law. The transformation has permitted my holding accountable one of the most powerful families in history, the Kennedys, specifically Joseph, the patriarch, and son Robert. As you will learn, I now take on two more powerful men, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover and President Lyndon Baines Johnson, both of whom were responsible for the granddaddy of all distortions of history, the bogus Warren Commission conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone during the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. How I landed on the motherlode of all assassination breakthroughs by exposing for the first time the corrupt inner workings of that commission through the account of a whistleblower of sorts provides the crowning jewel during my many years of research, ones that have exposed government corruption at the highest levels. As will be explained, my contributions to history in these arenas of interest only became possible when I began to learn more about Dorothy, a woman of great integrity who, in effect, became my co-pilot for the research journey I conducted on a daily basis. Before my discovery of the revered journalist, the media icon, my early years of defending women's rights, first in the courtroom and then with my early books, initiated me into dogged research methods resembling her own. Becoming something one might call a protege of hers opened a window leading to the truth about what happened to JFK in 1963, and eventually to the discovery of the suspicious nature of Dorothy's death in 1965, and then Marilyn's in 1962. Investigating them in that order, even though Marilyn died first, has resulted in resolving 3 true crime murder mysteries that were not, in fact, mysteries at all, if they would have been properly investigated at the time. As new evidence appeared on the horizon, much of it from highly credible sources, I would ask during my improbable journey, well, what would Dorothy do with this evidence? Other times, I wondered how she would follow up, how I could use information provided from a reader tip, missed or ignored government documents, or a new credible source that landed on my doorstep. Being smart enough to realize Dorothy was smarter than me, I began utilizing what I called the Dorothy method, akin to how a prosecutor gathers evidence for a trial so as to examine witnesses and present both opening statements and final arguments to uncover important historical data based on solid primary source evidence. Dorothy thus became a central part of my life, even though she had died decades earlier, and as time passed, I began to realize that by following her path to the truth about matters of historical significance, I could become a budding historian and compile a worthy list of my own contributions to history. This involved combining Dorothy's research with my own, and adding to the equation what I had learned through many valuable life experiences that I came to realize were indeed defining moments in my life. As you will read, connecting what I had learned during those moments in time to my own research methods became quite relevant to my discovery of new evidence. As an example, shortly after Collateral Damage was published in 2021, a slew of that new evidence came floating into my life, and I felt the need to share it with my readers. That is the intent of this book, to add more of my contributions to history, while at the same time honoring Dorothy for her contributions, ones that have been, thus far, the trigger point for nearly 7 million YouTube views of presentations and interviews for my last few books, The Reporter Who Knew Too Much, Denial of Justice, and Collateral Damage. During each one, I took the viewer on my research journey with me, and that